atrocious because, you know, we're all gonna be, you know, in going to jail. So, so I said, but then I got to the end and I said, well, this is funny and it's entertaining, but to who? To us, because we were there, and every single person has their own stories of drinking in the woods, getting chased by cops, so no one cares about this. But
not everyone has that story, and that should not be a goal in life. That story, but just putting it out there, that's a bad thing.
This was the 80s.
There's a
child. But I said, so this is, you know, it's interesting, but not very. So I had written this zombie short story that I loved, and I just said, well, what if I took these characters and exaggerated the hell out of them and put them into the zombie circumstance of the zombie short story, and then the first book came about. But it took, from the beginning to end, it was 3 years, from, you know, till I finally had something written. What about you guys? First things written?
Newspaper stories. When I was 8, 9 years old, I'd write mock newspaper stories about things that were happening to me at school, or with my friends, or with family members. I had this idea of being a journalist. So that's kind of how I started. Then I started doing short stories. They were pretty terrible because I was 10. Actually, even when I was in my 20s, they were still terrible. That's how I started. I just wrote short pieces to longer pieces to finally when I felt confident enough to tackle a novel.
My first was a short story in 7th grade. It was actually a Halloween assignment.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was this horror short called Mommy Dearest, and that thing will never see the light of day, ever.
I wrote a lot when I was younger. I was in the arts in general, and that was fine. But the first thing I'm going to really say that I wrote was I actually went to see a play in my early 20s at Arena Stage, and it was horrible. It was just awful. And I remember leaving there just in a rage because I paid for these tickets and thinking, God, I could write something better than that. I could do something that's just terrible. There's all these mistakes. And finally someone I was saying said, shut up and do it. So I did. So I wrote a play. It was called The Perfect Ending. And I actually ended up getting performed here in Washington. And it was really cool. I got it in a small theater, but they took it and they ran with it and they loved it. And the whole concept of it was the play that I had seen had these big long gaps in between set changes, and it dragged the show out. So I wrote a play that could be performed in 45 minutes nonstop, where the set changed from one thing to another as part of the show. And they did it and they pulled it off. But I knew that I'd written something as opposed to just messing around when a friend of mine saw it, and he came up to me afterwards and he said, man, I never knew you were deep. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I just thought you were just kind of an ass. And you know, you're funny and you're clever, but you know, this hit me emotionally. And I said, okay, great. He said, I just didn't know you could write. And then I realized, oh, well, I guess I'm a writer now. And then I went on from that to other things. And so, again, genre jumping, but you write whatever you're passionate about. Something makes you angry, write about it.
You had a question?
Yeah, so, first of all, supernatural female characters, right on.
Right here.
Yes, I'm doing it too. But, so, well, you probably are good at this because you write about zombies, but how, I guess, what are the, I guess this is true for most horror too, but like, what are the challenges with writing in an area that like has such a large body of canon, like zombie, like there's so many zombie stories. So like, how do you, like what kind of, how do you kind of navigate looking at what's there and kind of carving out a niche for yourself?
Absolutely. Like for me, yeah, the one thing being that I love the genre, I felt like every single movie had the same scenario. Zombies came about, they never explained why do they look like they look, why do they do, why do they act, why are they even there, why are they attacking people? There's no explanation. Sometimes they'll do something stupid, oh, a meteor went by, or some space station, or it was a nuclear release or something like that. I wanted real backstory on exactly, and like for my virus, they're addicted living. So they're not supernatural, they're not reanimated dead, they are living, they are existing of a virus. Now the virus has only affected 3 people in the world known, and it's really a crustacean virus, but I explain how it comes from the crustacean species and gets mixed with the humans. Then I also, you know, they start out, the beginning of the movie I love, the beginning of the book I love, where no one knows what's going on, something's happening. there's something happening, and it seems weird, and people think, oh, it's a terrorist, or it's mass uprising, or it's riots, or there's a virus going around, but people are acting weird, it's rape. And then finally, people are starting to realize that something is really big here, and then it gets big. And then the third thing is, after you get to that part where that's really great, then it's, bam, they're in the mall, and they're just killing zombies, killing zombies, killing zombies, killing zombies. And, you know, what happened? You know, or they're just, you know, zombie killing ninjas. Where are the salespeople? Where are the lawyers? Where are the, you know, where are the people that, did they all die? Like, we all don't all have the special ops ability to survive. So how would the normal people survive? And then finally, I always thought, in all of the genres, society absolutely collapses pretty quickly, and then it's just no man's land, Mad Max area, kind of, with just zombies roaming there. And I just feel that that's not true. It's not going to happen. Society's not going to collapse. We're not going to become, you know, people will work together, and we're going to just exactly adapt. And in my book, it shows the zombie apocalypse happens and life goes on. Government doesn't fall, business doesn't fall, dating and relationships don't, people still have to go out and work and meet people and date, and you just do it with zombies all around in a constant threat zone. So anyway, sorry, I am that. Next.
Don't deviate far from what people expect of zombies in terms of how they act and what they do. I think one of the things that depressed the sales of my first book, aside from my father that was on Kindle, that's a story, is I went too far. Also, I grew up on BBC stuff, so I'm good and very happy with, ha funny, oh my god, something tragic just happened, there was blood and guts in it. That's a hard sell. People are more linear, by and large. And side stories. This is why I have trouble writing one book. They're actually, the reason this is only one book is a friend of mine threw my concept up against the wall and I liked his better. But I have to be a really hard place to write it. Every character has a story, and this is another 500 first chapter thing. You can only choose X number of things to follow. And that's tough. Because in an ideal world, your characters are people. You know, you like Bob, you know, from Aldi, and you like Sue, who just got, killed the ones you love. And it was bad. And you go have a coffee and go, what did I just do? Reported the story, I do better. So limit, pay attention to what people are doing. Your writing style is a defining property. If people like you, they will like you. Back on the editor thing, there are things you don't spend money on. Number one, your editor. You find a good one to pay her or him what they're worth, and you don't look back. Cover artist. Get a good one if you're self-publishing, and really get on the case of your publisher if you don't like it. And formatting. If you can't do it yourself, pay someone who does it professionally. Expect, I would say, to pay a minimum of $1,000 to get a book out. And have it done right if you're self-publishing. Publisher.
Okay.
What else? What else about writing in an older Republic?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off of James real quick. When he said that your voice is your own and you kind of have your own thing, and it's important to develop that. But I mean, I don't really sweat the fine details of writing on a well-trodden territory. It's more important for me, and this is probably an unpopular opinion. These other writers are going to be like, shut up, Tim, shut up. But
Shut up, Tim, you know what you're talking about.
see, I can this guy. We're nemesis? Just be honest, be earnest. Don't make compromises in your story just because it's not original. Sometimes I think if something's more honest and true to the story you're telling, it's better for a reader to have the reaction, I've read this before, than to have the reaction that this is disingenuous and it's clearly contrived and you were trying too hard not to be something that the story was trying to be. So, I don't know, I can probably get more hippy-dippy about it, but I think
the time periods change. Like, like if you were to, let's just say a love story. You're writing a love story. Everybody's writing love stories. Love story that's taking place in 2018 is different than a love story that's taking place in 1985. You know, so it's a love story, but with the surrounding change.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with James just a little bit on the idea of taking things too far. I think I know, but I'm scrappy and I cry easily. I think you can take things as far as you want. I think you can bend tropes. I think you can twist and absolutely remake a genre, but you have to do it consistently and you have to do it with confidence. And if you're going to do it, you have to stick to your guns. Because if you don't, if you sort of get into it and then you pull back, that's when you lose the reader. If you throw them into a world that you don't believe in and you don't understand yourself, you're going to lose your reader. You can bend stuff as much as you want, as long as you feel confident about it and it comes through in your writing style, and your writing style shows it and it lives through that, then I think you can change anything you like.
Well, I'm kind of with Nick on this one. I have a tendency to genre blend and just take things as far as I possibly can. I've probably been pushed way too many limits. Like with my own zombie novel, we wanted it to be different. So granted, there is the meteor strike, all breaks loose thing, but
No, I didn't say that's bad. I just was saying that, you know, I wanted to